I think Bucky is this sort of hopeful creature that makes people believe in this place and the university and in Madison.
Well, when you're at UW, Bucky Badger is the celebrity on campus. So he is the guy that everybody wants to see. And I think that you find yourself getting giddy around Bucky Badger.
People around the world know Bucky Badger. There's something about Bucky that's beloved. I mean, people do identify with that courage and that strength of character and the ferociousness. Bucky stands for the tenacity to never, ever, ever, ever give up.
I have described Bucky on Parade as a very out-of-this-world experience that I've been involved with, where we'll be bringing 85 statues to the streets of Madison and Dane County for the summer of 2018. I've given a lot of credit to the artists, because without them, this project would be nothing. How they've made them come to life, how they've taken them in another light, but also how much fun everyone's going to have enjoying them.
I've been on campus for a long time. I've worked here about 17 years, and very early on in my career, they brought this idea to us. And at that point, we just didn't feel ready. It just seemed a little bit too far of a leap for us to give over sort of control of Bucky to something completely different than we'd ever done before. So we talked about it, but we weren't there yet. We weren't ready. And as time has gone on and as we've gotten sort of more comfortable, we started to become more receptive to the idea of, wow, what if we could really do some different things with Bucky? What if it wasn't always just the Bucky logo as you see it?
I think every one of us involved had sort of a different view of what this would be like. Try to use your imagination, but at the same time, you will not be able to imagine what it will be like.
This was actually a project that I had to get way out of my comfort zone. So I spent a big chunk of my time as leading trademark licensing saying, no, you can't do that to Bucky. No, you can't do this. No, you can't have him that way. No, you can't use him for this. So to get to a point where suddenly I was saying yes, yes, of course, you can try anything you want, anything that you can dream of, you can do with Bucky. That was a huge leap for me. So, and it wasn't just me, it was my boss, it was the chancellor of the University of Wisconsin. This was a pretty radical departure for us. So that was scary, but ultimately I think we all kind of shared in the vision of doing something really great with Bucky and something with a wonderful sort of outcome, and knowing that we were really giving him over to people who loved him as much as we did.
It was going to be fun to see what the artist's interpretation of Bucky looked like, and I don't think anyone's been disappointed by it.
No, I was actually, the first time I saw him, he was lined up with a couple of others, and I thought, wow, that is going to be so cool when you see all 85 or however many it was going to be together. Like the sheer magnitude of it, given their size, is just going to be incredibly impressive. It's really going to be awe-inspiring.
He's the energy that connects everybody. You know, it connects the fans and the players and the past and the present. Everybody lights up.
Always trying to be positive and inspire people and motivate and engage with, especially when you watch him around kids. He's constantly on the go and constantly engaging and constantly trying to make the experience or atmosphere that he's in a little brighter and a little better.
I think Bucky makes all of us proud because it represents, it's not just a mascot, it's not just someone dressed up. There's a deeper meaning to it, and again, that inspiration and that excitement and that identification, that's something, the enthusiasm that he creates for all of us has been a big part of our lives as college student athletes, as coaches, as people that are part of this community. I think Bucky has a special place in all of our hearts.
We are raising money for something very important, and that's about cancer research. And for almost everybody, there is some personal story about cancer and how these dollars will help.
It's obviously an emotional topic for me, but it's something that we're obviously deeply invested in it. And I think anybody that you talk to that's been personally touched by cancer, it gets real. It gets real in a hurry when it gets that close to you. The Bucky on Parade media that has come with it has definitely put a spotlight on guarding against cancer and raised awareness for cancer research and patient care. It's going to have a long-lasting impact because it's going to push us towards an end result of hopefully eradicating cancer but also in the meantime trying to make lives of those that are fighting it much better on a day-to-day basis.
Everybody loves Bucky. And we could do lots of public art events, and we talked about it. Do you bring other iconic Madison objects to life, like a bike or other pieces into art? But Bucky Badger was the natural answer. I mean, everyone loves Bucky Badger, and everyone's used to seeing Bucky in the same way. So what a great way to meld those two things in a community that's amazing and bring Bucky to life. Obviously, a big part of creating Bucky on Parade is finding the manufacturer who is going to create these fiberglass molds that will be given to all of our artists and that will made into masterpieces. And we did bid out the project. And I spoke to 3, maybe even 4 vendors, one of which was the company out of Chicago. And frankly, I was ready to sign the dotted line. We had it in the budget. We were in the final stages with them. And I received a phone call from Darren Schuff at Fast.
So I think our biggest challenge initially was just getting their attention to say, you raise our hand and say, hey, can I just come talk to you about our stuff?
I have to be honest, I thought this was just a conversation that would probably just check it off my list and we'd go on with the company out of Chicago. And Darren impressed me. He showed his passion for the project.
We were there to be a partner. We weren't there just to sell them white statues. We were there to be a partner with them and see this project through to the end. And I think that's what won us the project.
I said all along, everyone who worked on this project, I wanted to make sure had the passion that we had and the passion for the partnership in a project like this.
Now our goal at that point in time was to give the artists a piece of canvas that was 3-dimensional and in its own right, beautiful already. And then they just had to take it and blow it over the top, which they certainly did. Every single employee that works in finishing or works for this company is an artist in their own mind because they're taking fiberglass and fillers and sanders and grinders. They're putting their sweat and blood into these things just as if it's going to be in their front yard.
He was a perfect example of that. He showed the excitement for Bucky Badger and for making a product that would then come to life in Madison that summer. I think once I saw those blank statues coming off the truck, there's no going back. We had, at that point, 25 statues that came in on the first batch. And they don't come with the return label. So that was definitely, this parade was happening, and the momentum just kept going from there.
So I thought that was the neatest mascot I'd ever seen. And of course, over the years, he changed so much, as far as what his head looked like, his body looked like. He no longer scared little children. They came up and hugged him.
I remember Bucky when I was a student athlete, when I was a player here, and used to come out of the gate, and we used to fly out of the gate, so excited to start the game, and the band would be going, and Bucky would be out there high-fiving the guys. And I was sure one of those times I was going to go over a little too far and knock him over on the way out of the gate, but I never did. Bucky's a great skater. If you watch Bucky in warm-ups, he gets around the ice pretty good.
I do remember my very first convocation where all the new students arrive. And Bucky comes up on the stage at the very end, and he and I walk out together. And I remember feeling so very proud to walk out there between all of our new freshmen with Bucky at my side.
And it seems like every time I watch Bucky, he's always on the go. He's always up to something. He's very active. I think he's consumed about 3 or 4 cups of coffee every day or before every game.
I think it was around 4 p.m. on the due date. We had gotten about 40 designs, and the call for artists had gone out, quite a bit earlier. There had been a decent amount of time. Keep in mind the due date time was 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we were concerned we weren't going to have enough designs. My email just started going like this, about that fast. And from 4:30 that day, they came flying in up till 5 and well past 5 and into the next day.
And we were just wowed by what came in the door and the enthusiasm of the artists. We had a really fantastic artist committee. Everything went through the university and through a jury, and that was a process that was very thoughtful, very deliberate, so that we treated each artist fairly and respectfully in the process.
After I'd submitted the proposals for Bucky, I was just checking my email all the time, waiting to see if I heard back about a Bucky. And so when I finally saw the email at the heading, Bucky on Parade, I was like, yes.
We knew it was going to be a process to vet all the sites with all the different things happening in Madison, but we really had great cooperation and people just stepping up at every turn. And there was a lot of turns.
We committed to a number of value adds to this project, including storage and a lot of the logistics. But one of the things we committed to was coating all the Buckies. And in order to do that, we acquired a very expensive Fanuc robotic sprayer, paint sprayer, which will become part of the college's automation lineup.
You know, we've learned a lot in the process, stuff that I never thought we'd learn about. But that's what's kind of cool about the project, is that like we met new people along the way that kind of helped us solve different logistical issues, whether it's you know, how to affix the Bucky to the cement blocks, and you know, how to shift Buckies when there's a construction project or what have you.
I could not believe how big he was. So he became my friend right away because I had to keep talking to him every time I had to move him. So
they're not just like tall, but there is a ton of surface area. So the biggest challenge I faced was clearly getting enough signatures to cover him. Though when I ended up getting signature Bucky, he kind of came out of this idea of just wanting to, I guess, visualize what community looked like. Like the more I worked on him, I kept having these many like epiphanies. At the beginning, I was like trying to just like fit everything together perfectly, and the more I worked, I was just getting more frustrated. The flaws, I think, end up giving him a lot more character, and I think that's true about community as well, that you can't expect a community to be perfect. There's going to be challenges and bumps in the road. You know, as long as you're united and willing to work through those things together, the community can be a really beautiful thing.
So it's really going to be bringing all these individual groups of people together for a common goal and a common good, which is raising awareness for cancer, but having something that everybody in the community is excited about it's unique, and it's something you just, not every single community gets that opportunity.
Guarding against cancer started with looking back and remembering what my dad was all about. He was kind of one of those think globally but shop locally personalities that would help the neighbor across the street, the business down the road. So with that idea in mind, we wanted to do something that would help the people in places across the state of Wisconsin. And we knew we were going to have a great platform, we were going to have a great voice and a position to be able to help and have access to resources where we could help other people that are going through or in this everyday battle, whether it's doctors, patients, caretakers, wherever their role may be. That was important to us, and we found a perfect partnership. I think he'd be extremely proud. Hundreds of people have come together to help join forces and really help people across the street, down the road.
The operations committee was first tasked with finding all the locations that we can put the Buckies. And so we started with over 140 sites that we thought, hey, these would be great places to put a Bucky. And then it was going to all the different municipalities or the private businesses and finding out, can we do this? Is it far enough away from the curb or far enough away from a bus stop? Is it, the right of way? All these different things that were involved in getting permits or clearing it with the business, because it may impact the way that they do business, having a lot of visitors.
You would not believe how difficult it is to put statues on the Capitol Square or on the Capitol grounds.
Once we settled on our final number of 85, what are all the strings attached to where a Bucky goes in a certain location? You know, from a visual artist perspective, from a sponsor perspective, from a safety perspective, indoors, outdoors.
We've been very careful to take great care when we're moving these, just like we would with our customers' items. The movers and drivers themselves have taken a lot of pride to be on these moves.
I think the hardest part has been leading up to it and not being able to show anything has been challenging, but also I think great and necessary because it built the anticipation. And we listed all the locations where the 85 statues would be and invited people to choose a location that they are interested in and then go attend the unveil to be part of that celebration.
What I really hope happens with this project is people get out to different parts of the community that they typically wouldn't spend time in. And they're able to see Bucky's in these unique settings and are able to linger and not only enjoy Bucky and get excited about seeing these different views of Bucky, but notice that, hey, there's a cool coffee shop over here, or hey, this is a nice park that we can kick back and enjoy, and really help people not only discover a different side of Bucky, but a different part of the greater Madison area.
Bucky is he just exudes fun and that atmosphere that he's approachable for anyone. He can be fierce, he can be silly, and I think that is what makes this project even better.
I know that in my heart, I painted this Bucky with the utmost love and integrity and wanted to make people happy. You know, I want little children to run up wherever Bucky might be on the street in Madison, that maybe kids will run up and love him, and they'll be fascinated by the color. And
like, oh my gosh, we can't wait to see it. They just get very excited and just think it's a huge deal. And I hope personally that these kids can kind of look at these things and say anything is sort of possible. You can actually look at something, have an idea, and actually make it happen. And it's not that difficult. You just got to do it.
So I'm hoping that they're going to be as excited as I am to go visit him out on the street and spend time finding your names and seeing other people that you know.
It's a dream come true. This is 12 years in the making of Bucky on Parade, a dream that we've had of bringing Bucky Badger to life. And what do we have, 85 ways from 64 artists.
Bucky and Parade touched lives like no other. There were stories of people who found love at statues. There were stories of people who used the statues to heal from tragic parts of their life. And then what it touched, the people who were affected by cancer and that had an even closer connection to this project because we knew it was raising money for a larger cause. The team was amazing. They were truly incredible. I think none of us realized how much work this was going to be. We just didn't. Everyone was up for that challenge, and we truly came together and created an event that not only that everyone in the community won't soon forget, but we won't soon forget.
Wow was the first impression that I had when I saw the first completed one.
First thing I thought of was, how am I going to get one of those and put it in my front yard at my house?
Truthfully, I'm not sure who was more excited about seeing those. It was the kids or the parents. I mean, it blew all of us away. Frankly, I'm quite irritated that there is no Bucky chef. There clearly should have been. It probably wouldn't have taken a whole lot of work to do it because, basically, there's not a whole lot upstairs, so it clearly would have been involved.
So it was just like, oh my God, this is nice, that's nice. This one, oh, that's even better. This one, look at all the colors on that one. So I was just impressed. I was impressed.
I will say that the one that I probably particularly like is the one that's down on State Street called Inked Wisconsinably, because it has a little tattoo on the back that says, I love Becky on it.
We were all posting about it. The artists were in attendance. They were posting about it. Their friends, their family. Everyone just started posting, and the snowball effect of social media just started growing.
There's nothing more motivating to get up and work early mornings, late nights, weekends than to see people actually enjoy what you're working on and kind of the fruits of your labor, so to speak.
Oh, it's a wonderful idea to promote the state of Wisconsin and Bucky Badger. It's really fun.
We love Bucky. Bucky's great. Bucky makes us happy. We love seeing Bucky everywhere.
We have seen about 22 Buckies. 75. I think I've seen like 45, a little more maybe.
I've seen all 85.
But this really has exemplified what, Bucky means to the university and what it means to Madison, what it means to our state.
I've yet to come by one during the daylight hours where there hasn't been somebody at the statue, looking at it, reading the plaque, taking a picture, whatever it may be. So I know they made a huge impact already.
Whoever you talk to in town, hey, I saw my 28th Bucky today.
We've got 7 down, okay, and we've got 78 to go. So we got some work to do.
People come in from out of towns and they see their first Bucky and they go, oh, that's kind of cool. And then they see 2 and 3 and 4, and next thing you know, they're the ones chasing the rest of the Buckies around town.
I think that the private individual stories that came out of it and watching people have these incredibly intimate, joyous, joyful, playful moments around these Buckies that I either saw personally or saw online in social media, and then even the media coverage of it, that struck me as being, again, beyond what I ever thought would happen.
not only to see the smiles, but to see how it brought so much emotion to people. I saw people cry. I saw people it was truly moved them to be a part of this, and they love to share their stories, and honestly, I love to hear them. It meant so much to know that all of our blood, sweat, and tears, literally blood, sweat, and tears that went into this project paid off.
I think if you look at the Bucky Badgers, you'll see people brought really compelling or joyful or interesting or smart, artistic sort of vision to their Bucky Badger.
To have 85 statues out in the public for 4 months provided access to everyone, and that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted everyone to be able to experience Bucky on Parade. All ages, all ethnicities, everyone, alumni or not, get out and experience not only the city, but the 85 statues and public art at its finest. Bucky on Parade showed that everyone can come together for a common mission. We were able to work with every entity that you can imagine: county, state, city, surrounding communities, the university, and everyone sat at a common table and figured out how we were going to bring Bucky on Parade to life. I think even before the parade launched in May, this project had touched hundreds of people, and hundreds of people had their hands in it from the beginning. It was remarkable to see how hard everyone worked. I just can't be more grateful for everyone who was involved in that project.
There was just so much momentum throughout the summer with Bucky on Parade. We really wanted to end it with a bang. And we were able to create this environment of light and art and people coming into the Kohl Center and not feeling like they'd ever been in the Kohl Center before.
What connected everyone involved with the project, including the artists, was their abiding love for Bucky.
I got my art degree here at the university many years ago, and 20 years later, I never would have imagined that I would be doing something at this level with Bucky Badger.
The reaction so far has been tremendous. I'm hearing from people who didn't agree to be a sponsor, who now wish there would have been an opportunity for them to say yes.
We created an environment with music and artwork from all the Buckies, and I think the amount of people, the energy that they brought to the event was amazing.
And doing something the community and visitors could enjoy and revel in for an entire summer. And I want to thank everyone for embracing this and enjoying it and loving it as much as we did.
Wasn't this an amazing community event? I was telling Deb Archer today that it was so much more than I ever could have envisioned.
We hope we have created a model that we can achieve so many things in this community, opportunities and challenges. Think about all the entities that came together to make this happen.
Hit 12 and $12,000. Hit 12 and $12,000. Left here, 12. Hit 12, 13. Hit 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit 16. Hit $28,000. Hit $22,000. That's 22. 3. Hit $23,000. Hit 23. 3 times 3, 3. Hit 23, 4. Hit 24. Left here, 12. Hit 12, 13. Hit 13, 14, 15, 16. Hit 16,000, 16,000, 17, 18. 18,000. Young lady, hit 21,000, $21,000. Hit $21,000, $22,000.
Bucky on Parade raised $1 million for really great causes, including guarding against cancer. And that was a number that we never, ever anticipated hitting. And the reality started to set in that night when we were starting to count where we were at. And honestly, I was in total pure shock at that moment. But when I knew we were getting close to that $1 million mark, it was probably the sweetest moment of my entire life.
We're very honored as a family and obviously as an organization and an initiative, but I just think of the impact that that money can have and how many people can it help? Can it help save lives? Can it help push researchers further down the line? I think it's going to have a long-lasting impact because it's going to push us towards an end result of hopefully eradicating cancer but also in the meantime trying to make lives of those that are fighting it much better on a day-to-day basis.
Madison's such a great community, and we're hungry for these fun community projects. So let's bring them on.
Bucky on Parade.
Will you do it again?
I'm just gonna be repeating it to myself. I keep forgetting what I'm saying. I can't replicate it.
Who had it easiest? I'm not answering that. I'm not answering that. I'll answer off camera.
The executive committee. I mean, they're there to make sure the budgets are in line and, you know, kind of rubber stamp all the hard work all those other committees are doing.
We didn't kill each other.
Don't tell my husband, but I love Bucky Badger.
and they're like, act surprised. That's a little bit too much.
Damn, there's tears. Did you ever cry? What made you cry?
Rap.
Thank you very much.
Bucky.
So they'll be able to discover just. Okay. All right. So, Bucky on Parade.